welcome to the, and we're live. Hi, welcome to the new episode of Ask Me About My Draculas, where we explain Dracula-related movies and TV shows, comics, and video games.
Hooray!
Though, if you're unfamiliar with the show, basically there is always one person on the show that has not seen the topic that we are discussing, and it is up to them to ask questions and poke holes in our explanation. I'm Kel McDonald, and I draw comics that you can find at kelmcdonald.com.
I'm Kara Leopard, and you can find my work at drkara.tumblr.com.
I am Spike Trotman. I am responsible for Smut Peddler, The Sleep of Reason, Templar, Arizona, and Poorcraft. You can read Poorcraft in its entirety at poorcraft.com. You can read Templar, Arizona, a slice-of-life alternate history comic at templaraz.com. And you can purchase Smut Peddler and The Sleep of Reason, the former being an anthology of sex-positive, lady-friendly smut by women for everyone, and the latter being an anthology of unfamiliar horrors at ironcircus.com.
There are no Draculas in Sleep of Reason.
There are no Draculas in Sleep of Reason, because the thing is, everyone knows what a vampire is. And the whole point of the Sleep of Reason, it's full of things that you're not expecting.
Yeah. Okay, so today we are going to talk about... We're going to do a Cory Haim double feature. We are going to
It is very important that this occurs.
Yes, it's very important that we talk about Cory Haim and Corey Feldman in all their 80s glory. So
and I should be the one to do the most talking because I was the one who was the oldest during the reign of the Corys.
This is fair.
We are going to start by explaining The Lost Boys, and then I am going to explain Silver Bullet to Kara and Spike, who have not seen it.
Yay!
So, Kara, who has not seen Lost Boys, what do you think Lost Boys is about?
Well, the one thing I know for sure is, well, okay, I should say no for sure. It's vampires. I'm almost positive it's vampires.
All right.
Other than that, like, I'm kind of hoping the movie is about them, like, kind of like train spotting or something, where they, like, just, like, go and travel. But I doubt that's what it's about.
Okay.
All right. So, Spike, you requested that you want to explain it first with your dim memories of The Lost Boys.
Okay. I think this requires some preface. Do we have any people who are actually watching it? It's important.
We have one viewer, but you know what? This is all recorded, so people can watch it later. So.
Okay. So here's the thing. I spent a really significant part of the weekends of my tweenhood watching The Lost Boys. I had one good friend, and on the weekend I would go to her house and we'd do two things. We'd play Mario Kart, and we would watch The Lost Boys. And we were kind of in that period of our lives while we didn't know why we were watching The Lost Boys so much, but we did it. And as a result, you'd think I remember it better, but that was a long time ago. I'm 35 now, so it's been a long time since I was 13. And I have not watched The Lost Boys since. I watched it maybe 15 or 20 times as a teenager, and I have not watched it since.
Whereas I watched it last night.
Yes, and when Kel asked me to be on this show, I specifically told her I do not want to watch it again. I don't want to refresh my memory. I want to purposely just go for it and see how much I remember. So I'm going to do my absolute best. I will get it wrong, but that's part of the fun. All right, so The Lost Boys. Imagine, if you will, this sort of really late 80s, early 90s looking California town where it's kind of laid back and it's sort of California being impressed with itself. It's very free and easy, and Echo and the Bunnymen play when you see the town of welcome, the sign out in the front of the town that's all like, welcome to Happyville, or whatever the town was called. So you have to imagine Echo and the Bunnymen playing all these, over these sort of montage shots of beach bums and beach bunnies and old people being wacky and the boardwalk and the palm trees. Dun, 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 people are strange when you're a stranger.
That is not true. That's not what it starts with. It starts...
Well, stop correcting me. You have to go all the way through. It's important. So this is the town that Cory #1 and his brother, Hot Guy, are moving to with their mother. Cory #1 and Hot Guy are moving in, along with their mother, with Grandpa. Grandpa, who is kind of an eccentric, but you know what? That's fine. He plays a very sort of supporting role in the whole movie until the very end. Now, Cory #1 does not want to be in Happyville Beach Town. And, of course, Hot Brother is going through his sulky teenage phase. He's sort of a standard issue 25-year-old playing 19-year-old. And the mom is basically telling them, make the best of it because this is where we live now. And so Cory #1 and Hot Brother go sulking out on the boardwalk. And they go sulking out on the boardwalk, and while they're there, Cory #1 meets Cory #2. Cory #2 will be referred to as Frog Cory because he looks like a frog. And because in the movie, appropriately enough, he is one of the Frog Brothers. Cory #1 is talking to Frog Cory, and Frog Cory goes, there are vampires in this town. And Cory #1 does not believe Frog Cory, because who the fuck would believe someone who told you that? He just thinks they're crazy. Meanwhile, Hot Brother is meeting Kiefer Sutherland Albino. Kiefer Sutherland Albino is secretly the leader of a coven of vampires that live in Happyville Beach Town. Members of this coven include Guy, who is not Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted, Hot Chick, and Vampire Child, okay, which was a lot edgier back then. Coven decides to zero in on Hot Brother, and they start sort of ingratiating themselves to him, but since they're mean teen vampires, I assume they were supposed to be teenagers, they start teasing him a little bit, but not too much. For example, the best known scene from Lost Boys, probably, apart from Death by Stereo, which we'll get to, is when Hot Brother is eating Chinese takeout with the vampires, and they start giggling at him, and then Albino Kiefer Sutherland goes, maggots. And Hot Brother goes, what? And Kiefer Sutherland goes, you're eating maggots, Michael. How do they taste? And Michael, Hot Brother, looks down at his takeout box full of rice, and it's full of squirming maggots. And he freaks out and spits it out and starts, oh my god! Wow! And the vampires laugh at him because it was an illusion they projected into his mind because they're just fucking with him. Anyway, Hot Brother falls in love with Hot Lady Vampire. Well, lust maybe. And he starts kind of seeing her on the sly. And this is kind of part of Albino Kiefer Sutherland's plan to draw him into the vampire coven. He starts very slowly changing into a vampire. I remember a scene where he goes to bed because he's being very cranky and adolescent. That's what his mom thinks, but it turns out, no, he's turning into a vampire and it makes you cranky. And he goes to bed, and while he's sleeping, he actually floats up to the ceiling. He has no control over flying. It just happens by itself now because he's becoming a vampire. Now, Cory #1 notices this, and of course, he feels he cannot tell any authority figure. He's afraid the vampires are trying to get his brother. So he goes and enlists Frog Cory and Frog Cory's brother in the movie to go and take out the vampires. And they do this by sneaking into where the vampires hang out during the daytime. And the vampires are being very bat-like. They actually hang from the ceiling with claws. Like, they have gross vampire feet that look like kind of iguana feet or sloth feet, and they hang from the ceiling with those. And they're all like, okay, here we are. The vampires are sleeping. It's daytime. They're hanging from the ceiling. We should kill them. And Frog Cory goes, okay, so we should stake them through the heart. And they stake Guy, who is not Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted, through the heart. And his death is very gruesome. He, like, falls on the ground, starts flapping everywhere. Ah! Naturally, he wakes up all the other vampires, and the Corys escape, but not before Kiefer Sutherland tries to grab them, and his hand touches sunlight. And these are not Twilight vampires. When sunlight hits them, it's like Keanu Reeves' hand just immediately goes foop, and like it catches on fire, so he can't chase them. Now, the Corys are terrified because they've just killed somebody, and it was very graphic. And they know that when night falls, those vampires are coming for them, because those vampires know them. So they decide to free Hot Brother of the vampiric embrace and simultaneously kill off the vampire coven by doing almost a Home Alone-style fortification of Grandpa's house. Grandpa is basically never home, so he does not catch on. Mom is like kind of quintessential stereotypical working mom who never sees her kids, so she doesn't know what's going on either. They are basically keeping Hot Brother hostage while they gear up the house for the vampire invasion. And at this time, Frog Cory relates that if they kill the leader of the vampire coven, Hot Girl, who's a vampire, will stop being a vampire, and so will Vampire Child. So the idea now is they've got to get Kiefer Sutherland. That's the important thing. So they do things like fill up the bathtub with holy water, and they like put electric, like, what's it called? Electric traps around the house. So if you touch a wire, you get electrocuted. Things like that. And night falls, and the vampires show up. And it's just like a big, epic, climactic battle between the vampires and the kids and Hot Brother. And it goes down, and there's a lot of interesting deaths. For example, someone has a crossbow, and they fire the crossbow into the vampire, which then hits the vampire, goes through the vampire, and hits the stereo. People used to have those. Against the wall, which immediately electrocutes the vampire, which apparently that can kill a vampire too. And there's this whole big quotable scene where the Corys look at each other in amazement and just go, "Death by stereo!" And then there's a scene where the husky, Cory number 1 has a pet husky, and it knocks one of the vampires into the bathtub full of holy water, and he basically boils to death. And finally, it comes down to Kiefer Sutherland, who's all like, I'm not afraid of you. You guys are punk asses. I'm going to kill you. Bleh. And just when things are looking their least likely to, conclude in everyone's favor, that's when you hear, like, goofy, eccentric grandpa's car horn. So it's going like, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and Grandpa drives through the wall of his own house and hits Kiefer Sutherland and slams Kiefer Sutherland into the far wall, killing him instantly. Beforehand, they've been sort of almost playing up how sort of out to lunch Grandpa is, but he just killed the head vampire and freed Hot Brother, Hot Girl, and Child Vampire. After Grandpa does this, everyone's just kind of staring at him, and Grandpa very sort of leisurely climbs out of his car, walks to the kitchen, opens the fridge, and grabs a beer. And he opens it, and he turns to look at the kids who are now staring at him in disbelief. And he says very, in a very relaxed tone, I've always loved this town, except for one thing, all the fucking vampires. And then he closes the fridge, and that's where the movie ends. That is how I remember Lost Boys.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you where you're wrong.
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland is not the head vampire.
He is not?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the movie, when it starts out, this is actually a really nice, good way of doing, like, exposition.
Mm-hmm.
When the movie opens and it's doing, like, here's our kooky, like, California town montage thing, there are missing people signs everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So, like, there is not a single scene where there aren't, like, 5 missing posters behind the characters.
Because vampires.
Because vampires, yeah. So, Frog Cory
Yes.
is totally trying to be Rambo.
Yes, that is an important thing I missed.
That is, if you want to imagine this character, he is a 12-year-old pretending to be Rambo.
Yeah, he's got the headband and the
like
haircut.
the red bandana.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he's trying to be very mature and in the know, but he's a fucking child.
Yeah. I like that it's very clear that, like, even though he's the one giving, like, the exposition on vampires, he is a fucking child.
Yeah, and it's not like the movie is expecting you to take him seriously.
And so that maggot scene,
Mm-hmm.
what is really nice about it is it's not only establishing them teasing Hot Brother, whose name is Michael.
Yes, you're eating maggots, Michael. How do they taste?
So they do the maggots thing, and then they make him think he's eating worms when he's eating noodles.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do it to him again, and all of this is actually set up. So when they give him the blood to drink that's going to make him a vampire. When the girl vampire tries to warn him, no, don't drink it, it's blood, he's like, yeah, sure. Because they pulled this on him like 5 times before that. And so hot girl vampire, and Michael doesn't slowly turn into a vampire. He is a vampire almost immediately. It's just he's not a full vampire till he kills someone.
Oh, okay.
Because, so the scene where other Cory, not Frog Cory, figures out his brother is a vampire is his brother almost attacks him while he's in the tub. But the husky, like, attacks the older brother.
Yeah, that's right. The dog starts hating him when he becomes a vampire.
Yeah. And so after... And the way a lot of dog owners react to their dog attacking someone is other Cory goes, "What the fuck did you do to my dog?" And during their argument of what the fuck did you do to my dog, they notice that, like, now Michael's reflection is transparent.
Yeah.
Michael's
Not
reflection
completely
is at
invisible.
50% opacity.
Yeah.
And so the whole the mom is working at like a video store. It's only open at night, and her boss is like hitting on her, and her boss is the head vampire.
Oh, okay. They just think
turns
Kiefer Sutherland's the head, right?
Huh?
They just think for like a long time he's the head, Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah, because Michael never meets the
Yeah, and I remember now, they kill Kiefer Sutherland, and they're waiting for Michael and a hot vampire woman and child vampire to get better, and they're not getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, the way Kiefer Sutherland dies is really funny. Like, there is this super-duper cheesy thing where both Michael and Kiefer Sutherland, like, fly up in the air and, like, tackle each other in the air.
Oh my gosh.
There's also, when Michael is freaking out and thinks and is like, oh my god, what's happening to me? He goes to, like, ask Hot Girl what's going on, and she's like, oh, I wish I could have warned you, but instead of explaining what the fuck's going on, I'm gonna have sex with you in this weird, like, 80s montage sex scene.
With lots of candles and gauze.
Yeah. And
Wow,
then,
really?
and the song that plays is a song called Cry Little Sister, and I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I'm pretty sure it's about incest.
Yeah.
So the sex scene is taking place to a song that's probably about incest.
Wow.
Pretty good otherwise, though.
I'm trying to think. So then, like, and also teen vampires decide to make Michael a vampire because the head vampire told them to.
No. Wait, head vampire wanted their mom.
Apparently, head vampire's plan was to turn other Cory and Michael into vampires before turning the mom.
Yeah, so the mom would have no choice.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, all right, and mom showed up just to have this explained to her, like, late at night after her sons had killed, like, 5 vampires but not killed the head vampire. And head vampire is all like,
comes home from a date with them, with, like, head vampire guy.
Yeah, and head vampire tells them all this, and she is totally about to give herself to head vampire's big long fangs to save her own children, and that's when Grandpa runs him over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I looked up on Wikipedia, there are 2 direct-to-DVD sequels.
Well, thank Jesus for that.
Oh my gosh.
Very clearly, Corey Feldman, Frog Cory, decided, I'm not doing anything with my career, and this movie was really popular.
Frog Cory.
Oh,
He really does look like a frog, though, I'm sorry.
4 people in the town meeting adult Frog Cory. And, like, I was reading the summaries, and it's like, so-and-so's sister gets captured, and then they meet so-and-so, and it turns out he's a vampire hunter.
So I'm guessing it wasn't any good. Did you watch it?
I did not. I just read, like, the Wikipedia article.
There's a vampire movie you won't watch.
I didn't have time. I only had time to watch Lost Boys. I'll probably get to those terrible sequels eventually. I was busy watching a werewolf movie with Khal Drogo in it.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I think that's the Lost Boys.
Yay! Lost Boys. What do you think, Kara?
Spike.
It's okay. It's really funny because, like, when you said the thing with the dog, I feel like I've seen a clip of that before, but
There's tons of clips, yeah.
I can't, like, think of, like, where I would have ever seen that. But yeah, that seemed really familiar. But I mean, it seems like it's a very 80s movie.
It is. It's extremely 80s.
Oh, all the vampires have really terrible earrings.
Yes. They have big, dangly Cyndi Lauper. Like what's that asshole's name who like sneered all the time? Not David Bowie.
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol earrings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And no, so it's like this dangly thing that has like a little knife.
Yeah.
And they're terrible, terrible earrings.
It is the 80s, so they need big dangly earrings. That's how you know they're scary punks. Also, pretty sure Kiefer Sutherland had like a mullet in it.
He did.
Yes.
I kind of just want to watch it for Kiefer Sutherland because of 24, but I don't know if that's a good enough reason.
It's a fun movie. It's not very intelligent, but it's not trying to be.
Is it on Netflix? Because I'll totally watch it if it's on Netflix.
Good question. I have no idea.
It is not on Netflix or Hulu. I had to rent it off iTunes to watch it.
What is... It's like we're savages. Why can't we get it on Netflix?
Seriously.
Trying to think if we're missing anything. No, I think we've covered all of our bases. So now, Cory Haim, movie number 2, Silver Bullet.
Okay, this one I know absolutely nothing about.
I'm going to guess werewolves because it's called Silver Bullet.
Yes. Okay, so you two make up what you think it's about.
Okay. It's got Cory Haim in it, and it's called Silver Bullet. What year did it come out?
Sometime in the 80s.
Okay. It's called Silver Bullet, Cory Haim in the 80s. I am going to pretend it is about Cory Haim in Miami. It's got something to do with cocaine and cartels. He is the son of a law-abiding, all-American, white bread family that gets senselessly murdered in the crossfire of the cocaine wars. He tells the police he knows who did it, and he wants to avenge his senselessly murdered family, and he is told by the police, "You're just a kid, you can't do anything." However, he joins a gang, or either forms or joins a gang of vigilantes who are going to extract revenge on the cartel with a silver bullet.
Please tell me that's what the movie's about.
I'd watch that movie.
That's not what it's about. Kara, what do you think?
I was going to guess it was going to be like a Teen Wolf ripoff. So he becomes a werewolf and he's really good at a sport.
Okay. You're both wrong.
Oh.
Silver Bullet is based off a Stephen King book called The Cycle of the Werewolf, which is illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson, for those of you watching who aren't familiar with him, he is a super good horror comic artist who used to do like Swamp Thing in the 80s and also did these really great illustrations of Frankenstein. So the story is about Cory Haim, who is a kid in a wheelchair that has been dubbed the Silver Bullet. If you are a 12-year-old in the 80s who is in a wheelchair, you're going to paint flames on your wheelchair and, like, give it a cool name.
Oh my gosh, what?
Keep going.
He lives in a town where mysterious murders start to happen.
Of course.
And turns out werewolves.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep doing like the whole movie is supposed to take place. The movie and the book are both supposed to take place over the course of a year, and they always tell you like what month it is, and you're only seeing their lives around the full moon.
Okay.
Because that's when the murders are happening. So it becomes clear that it's probably a werewolf. That's probably why they changed the name to Silver Bullet, because since his wheelchair is named Silver Bullet, that would maybe mislead you to think maybe it's not a werewolf and it's just a serial killer.
Okay. That's not what I was expecting. Is this on Netflix? I would like to watch it.
I haven't seen it in a while. It might be. I don't know. The way Wheelchair Kid figures out that who the werewolf is the werewolf like starts attacking people in like December, and then in July, Cory Haim goes out to like light fireworks off of a bridge, and the werewolf attacks him while he's lighting off fireworks. So he actually shoots a firework into the werewolf's eye.
Great.
And then the next day, the neighborhood priest has an eye patch.
Oh, that actually is very reminiscent of an urban legend. I want to just recount this urban legend really quick. Like, there was this story about a little old woman who lived alone, and everybody loved her and treated her so nice and brought her things and, took care of her in general because she was all by herself in the world. And one dark winter night when it was storming out, she was stoking the fire and poking it with her fire iron, and somebody knocked on her door. And she went and looked through the peephole, but there was nobody there. And when she opened it, someone tried to kick her door in. When she pushed back against it, they mistook the fire iron she was holding for like a baseball bat or a metal rod she was going to use to defend herself, and they reached out and grabbed it. And of course their hand burned horribly, and they ran away. And the old woman was like, oh my goodness, what was that? But the storm was really bad, so she couldn't follow them and see what that was, and she couldn't like talk to the sheriff or the police or anything because it was late at night. There was no phone. She couldn't talk to anyone for a while. And in the next day, when the storm had died down, she finally went out to town to file a report, and she was all like, somebody tried to rob me last night, and I'd like to file a report. And they're like, okay, sure, I imagine you'll want to talk to the sheriff, but just so you know, he probably won't be in today because he burned himself really badly last night, and he's at the hospital.
There's an older version, like an older werewolf version of that, where it was a story where there's an old lady that like lives in the woods, and wolf attacks happen, and then someone like the wolf gets caught in a trap, like a metal trap.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, the old lady's limping, so they know that she's the werewolf.
Ah.
What? I've never heard these stories before.
Yeah. Urban legends are pretty good.
I love it.
The one that I was relaying was like one of the first werewolf stories or whatever.
I saw a post going around Tumblr about how werewolves used to be people who left fish for poor families.
Yeah, okay, so if we're going to go into old werewolf stories, I know a lot about these for obvious reasons. So there's several, like, if you look at old versions of werewolf lore, all the stuff, like the full moon and Silver hurting them and Wolfsbane hurting them, everything that's in pop culture now is actually didn't start until the Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman movie. And everything before that, like, they're just people who turn into wolves. So the horror of a werewolf is not so much that, oh, they're going to kill everyone and be like the movie monster, like, that eats everyone. It's more that, like, it could happen to anyone. randomly. Like, so this is just a thing that could happen to you, and then all your friends will kill you as a wolf, and they won't know it's you. And so it was more it was about the victim rather than the werewolf itself being the monster. And so then you get like that French fairy tale that I put in the first Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales, Bis Clairvaux, where the guy turns into a wolf and then can't change back till he finds his clothes. And so it's stories like that where the horror is more that you're going to be stuck as a wolf and then hunted down rather than you're going to kill everyone.
Because you weren't a wolf person then, you were literally a wolf.
Yeah, and so because these would be people that are stuck as wolves, you would get stories like them helping out poorer people or like family members who are on hard times, even though they're stuck as wolves. And then you had other versions of the legend, which would be they were just people that had witchcraft that could like turn them into a wolf to help them survive hard times, because it would be easier to live and survive as a wolf during like a famine than it would be to live as a person that has to depend on farming.
Oh.
The more
you know.
Yeah.
I did a lot of research before starting Sorcery 101. But yeah, so Silver Bullet, he finds out that the priest is the werewolf, and then, like, the priest, at first, doesn't know he's the werewolf. So he's kind of a nice guy at the beginning of the movie, but then as the movie progresses, it's like he's slowly starting to go insane. And it's supposed to be like that being a werewolf in this movie also makes you go crazy, so you might, and so by the end of the quote-unquote cycle of the werewolf, you end up homicidal both as a human and as a werewolf.
Okay.
Oh.
So, the movie ends around Halloween, where the priest has kind of gone completely out of it and insane, and him and Wheelchair Kid have a face-off, and obviously the Wheelchair Kid wins.
Obviously.
He gets help from his, like, drunk uncle. Because apparently his alcoholic uncle is the only one that will believe him there's a werewolf. And that's Silver Bullet.
Would you say that one's everybody should give it a watch?
Is that a classic of the genre?
I would say if I was grading it, I'd give it a B.
Really? That high?
Well, there's a lot of bad werewolf movies. Like, so A is American Werewolf in London. F is the movie I just watched with Khal Drogo.
That poor guy. He is cute as a button, but the films he is in.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Aquaman, right?
Yep.
Oh, is he?
He sure.
I guess Aquaman has to be cool then.
Yeah, I know. Aquaman's gonna be cool now. Like, I remember when Batman was the essence of fucking lame. I remember when Batman was like when you said Batman, everyone thought of the Adam West Batman, like the super lame, stupid Batman, and no one thought Batman was anything approaching cool. And the thing that redeemed that was a combination of the Michael Keaton Batman film and Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. And then Batman was cool, and that gave Batman enough cool to last up until now.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember a period where if you said Batman was your favorite, people thought you were lame as fuck.
See, I'm kind of sad because I watched Batman Brave and the Bold for a little while, so I'm kind of sad that Aquaman the movie is not going to be like a musical with like fish. Like, because that, like, to me, that would be like the best Aquaman movie in the entire world.
There's a great I really like in the when Aquaman shows up in Brave and the Bold, like when the way he's introduced is he has a foot on a dolphin each, and the dolphin is moving, not Aquaman. He's just like posing as these dolphins swim and move him about the kingdom, and he's like he's talking to someone like of his life story, like these are my memoirs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's unbelievably cheesy, and it's great. Then there is a part when he yells at Batman, "Why don't you understand family, Batman?"
Oh, oops. Awkward.
Very.
That is the correct Aquaman.
What, the hopelessly awkward Aquaman?
The one that's full of himself and is the Grand Pontificator.
Oh, okay. Because he's used to being a king and only talking to fish. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Fish don't have a lot to challenge him with.
And I think that's it. We've finished our Cory Haim double feature.
Yes,
So,
and
unless we have more that we want to add, like, I can add some more Cory Haim, like.
The important thing about Cory Haim, personally, to me, is you need to look up what happened to him after his career fell apart, because it gets really, really entertaining. For example, I think you should start out your Cory Haim experience with a film called Cory Haim, Me, Myself, and I. It is on YouTube in its entirety. It is the weirdest fluff video I've ever seen. All it is just him and his handlers talking about how much he loves sports and how much girls love him. And it's like 40 minutes of this. And it features the best piece of clothing ever conceived of by a human brain, which is Cory Haim's custom hockey jersey, which has the Haimster across his shoulders and the back.
Wow.
After that, it's pretty much a potluck. Just hit every YouTube video featuring Cory Haim, and you can watch him disintegrate.
Okay, so when I was in middle school, I used to watch this not very good TV show called Big Wolf on Campus, which was a Teen Wolf ripoff. And they would, like, have a monster of the week that they would fight. And the way I discovered who Cory Haim and Corey Feldman were is Cory Haim had a guest appearance on this terrible TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It was clearly, like, the end of his career. Like, this is the last thing he did.
Wow.
He showed up, and the plot of the episode he was in is Cory Haim has become a vampire because Lost Boys is based on fact and things that really happened to both Corys. So they have to kill Cory Haim. And then the next season, Corey Feldman shows up as a guest star and is like, "Did you know Cory Haim's a vampire?" And they're like, "Yeah, we took care of that last year." And they're like, "Oh, cool, awesome." And then it turns out Corey Feldman's also a vampire, so they have to kill him too.
Okay, wait. I have to. Cory. I'm Googling them. Haim's.
And I think a big part of Cory Haim's success and Corey Feldman's success is so at the height of their like careers, they were like 12. And a lot of the people that were crazy and thought they were super hot were also 12.
Very true.
So their career ended when both them and their fans stopped being 12.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead real quick, and I'm going to post an image, and it'll be for you here. All right, let me just grab it. All right. This is Corey Feldman in Lost Boys.
Ah, very Rambo. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and leave that there because it's perfect.
That is what he looks like in the Boys?
Yes, look at him. He looks like a frog. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I thought that was the best picture ever, but it's not. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Hold on. Let me just... Okay. Is this it? Or this one? No. Okay, see, Kel was talking about how he looked cute, and Kel would be wrong, because that is what Cory Haim looked like.
That's not him when he's 12. He is clearly not 12 in that picture.
He is gruesome.
He hit him early and hard.
Yeah. So we need to sort of, if everyone could just take a moment with me and just sort of sit back and appreciate that we as a civilization survived the reign of the Corys.
So I'm going to tell you, Cory Haim in The Lost Boys looks like the kid that you would cast as the popular boy in a middle school show.
Okay, I'm going to look for him, Lost Boys era. Haim, Cory, Lost Boys image. Oh god, look at that fucking hair. Ew. Okay, alright, here we go. Alright, this is what the world needs. This is what the world needs. Look, here they are. This is Feldman as Froggius. And there's Cory Haim. That's them and the Lost Boys right there.
Yeah, so they're clearly children, and the people that thought they were attractive were also children. Like, Spike, you said that you were in middle school when you were obsessed with this movie.
Yeah, but I wasn't obsessed with it because of these guys.
I'm just saying that, like...
Maybe your taste is awful.
Their appeal was strictly for 12-year-olds.
Maybe your taste is awful. How about that?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to show you what Kiefer Sutherland looks like in The Lost Boys, so everyone can make fun of me now. Hold on. Where is he? Oh god, he's so gross! He looks like Guy Fieri. Okay. Let me try and find him. Oh Jesus, what was the matter with me? Oh my god. Okay. There you are.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, with his fucking dangly earrings and his mullet.
Oh my god. Jack Bauer, why?
Exactly. Everybody needs to understand where we're coming from here. And this is him when he's vamping out extra hard.
I feel like the Lost Boys vampire faces are probably what inspired the Buffy vampire faces.
Yeah, this is back before vampires had to be like handsome all the time. Like they could be handsome, but then when it was time to vamp out, they could be gross.
Okay, this is a really nitpicky thing.
Yeah.
And I expect no one else to care about this thing, but it bothers me in vampire shows when the thing that extends into fangs is not their canines.
That is absolutely true. Those are incisors.
Yeah, those are not his canines, and your canine should be the fangs.
See, this reminds me of like the Teen Wolf face, how it'll be suddenly hot guy to where he has slightly long teeth and warped face.
Yeah. Look, see? That's Kiefer Sutherland vamping out there.
He looks better in black and white. It should have been a black and white movie.
This is more forgivable in black and white, because you can fool yourself into thinking it's arty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and here's Hot Brother.
Okay. Would you like
I don't even remember the actor that played him, but this is Hot Brother. Being an asshole. And wearing sunglasses because he's half vampire now.
Yeah. So the symptoms of being a vampire in The Lost Boys is also the symptoms of being a shitty teenager.
Yeah, so no one really catches it except his brother who knows him well.
Like, really, the reflection thing is the only dead giveaway. Because the things that they ask him to double check if he's a vampire is, does he sleep all day?
Yeah.
Is he moody? Does he have bad breath?
Oh. I even found a picture of Death by Stereo. Here we go. See?
That's
He's an arrow in his chest and he's hit the stereo system. He's got his little leather jacket on and his cute little tummy showing out underneath. That's how you kill a vampire, apparently. Death by Stereo. This has been very educational. I'm glad we had this moment together, everyone.
Oh, yes. I'm kind of sad I missed the double Cory phase of childhood.
Yeah, they were too young to even be part of what was then called the Brat Pack, which is like Molly Ringwald and friends.
Yeah. So that's what I said. They're children, Spike.
They're the Corys.
And their fame ended when they stopped being children.
Yeah, pretty much, and they never really got over it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to try and find my favorite picture of Cory Haim. It's like he got really weird and greasy looking as time went by.
Yeah, and then he died of a drug overdose.
Let me see if I can't find him. Is that him? Oh my god, he had like raging meth face for years. There we go. This is the best picture of Cory Haim that's ever been found by anyone anywhere. Oh, can I click it? Does it get bigger? No, it doesn't. Okay, sorry. This is as big as it gets. That's my favorite hamster picture.
Wow.
Have you seen pictures of the guy who played Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1?
No, what does he look like?
Like that.
He looks worse than that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the hamster.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hollywood rides him hard and puts him away wet. Yeah, there's a great interview of him on YouTube where he's really high. And he's incoherent. And he knew he was having an interview that day, and he decided to get ready for it by getting completely fucked up. And he's just muttering like nonsense the whole time. And because these people are vultures, they don't stop filming. They just keep asking him questions. They're like, yeah, that's nice. Go on, you fucking junkie. Tell me more.
Video of Britney Spears high.
Which one's that?
She talks about how she wants to see the Spawn movie.
Oh, I remember that.
That one's pretty great. It also highlights that her husband's the shittiest person on earth because he's the one
Anna Nicole Smith.
asked her stuff.
Like, Anna Nicole Smith is never not high, pretty much, so finding video of her fucked up is pretty easy.
This is why Britney Spears' husband's the worst person on earth, because he got his wife high and then asked her a bunch of questions and then posted it online.
Wow.
There's this one bit in the Anna Nicole Smith show. If you've never seen the Anna Nicole Smith show, you should see it. Where what happened was she was touring houses in LA looking for a house to rent. And she came across this one house. And keep in mind, grown woman, 30-something years old, accompanied by her lawyer and her personal assistant, D-list celebrity, okay? And she's looking around this house, and she likes it a lot. And she asks how much the rent is, and it's too much. Again, grown woman, accompanied by her retainers, begins to cry and just falls on the floor and won't get up.
Wow.
And not like an adult, she starts going, oh, like, you know, like a 2-year-old. It's amazing.
Wow.
You should watch the Anna Nicole Smith show.
All right.
I feel sorry for her. She was a mess.
How long have we been going? About
Question.
So I think this is a good place to stop now that we've
All right, well,
we've veered off the topic of Draculas and have moved on to shitty celebrities.
Yeah,
Shitty
that's
dead
probably a
celebrity.
sign.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're terrible.